not all we do. We're a platform that prepares you. We're a platform that prepares you to become globally attractive. And like we say, the tech platform gives you opportunity to travel or relocate your business, your ideas, or your person to different ecosystem, right? So it Emigrate, we are a platform of tech enthusiasts, of tech experts that are, preaching the gospel of tech becoming globally attractive in the tech industry. And also by being that, you have the opportunity to, either practice in your, community or in your immediate ecosystem, or decide to go to a different ecosystem to explore opportunities. So today we are talking about digital equality, a female developer who has journeyed through global tech talent and has a story to share, has been successful, super successful, and now she is in a different ecosystem from the one she started from. And she'll be sharing her journey and how she has progressed from, taking interest in tech to actually getting into tech and, getting her hands into code. She's a developer, and we want to hear all of that. And now she's globally attractive. She's well sought after. So sit back, relax, and we're going to have a good time today. So we have previous edition of Emigrate Open Days. They are free, they're online. Once you Google Emigrate, you see these videos. If you're looking out for information around migrating to the UK, migrating to the US, migrating to Australia, we've done editions in the past that covers these various tech routes. So you can binge on any of the video, right? They're very informative, very inspirational, very inspiring, I should say. And yeah, you can share with your friends and anyone in your ecosystem that's looking at the tech ecosystem generally, looking at building a tech career or looking at exploring tech opportunities outside their immediate tech ecosystem, right? Next editions, we'll be looking at UK tech startup or what they call the innovator visa for those that are interested in relocating their startup, moving their startup from one ecosystem to the UK ecosystem, right? The UK innovator visa is one that you should explore. You should go Google it, read about it. We'll be talking about it in subsequent edition. We'll also be talking about the UK technician visa. Again, subsequently, we have, the US global, sorry, give me a minute. US global talent, or move to the US as a global talent, right, with the US O1 visa. That will be coming also, and also startup visa for Canada and the French tech visa. These are sessions that we hope to bring to you. We have a community of speakers who would like to share their experience with you. So share our link, share these videos with friends that are looking at any of these opportunities or that are just interested in the tech ecosystem and want to know how they can be part of this tech ecosystem. It is a good platform for them to be part of. As the conversation progresses, we'll share our various link to join the Emigrate platform. So look out for that. Like I said, Emigrate tech-enabled pathway to relocation and settlement is what we do. We focus in tech. You won't hear us talk about other, we don't talk about other routes, nursing, education. That's not our forte. We are not immigration experts, or neither are we immigration lawyers. We're just sharing success stories of people that has taken this journey and the lessons they've learned, the opportunity they see, and just sharing it to equip you if you are making this decision to be better equipped, to have the relevant information. And that's what we are. So whatever we are going to share today, feel free to Google it, feel free to research deeper, research more on it. Do your fact findings. Don't just take everything and run with it. Do your fact finding, see how they apply to your scenario. And if you're not clear, join the Emigrate ecosystem. We have coaches that can make things a little bit more simpler for you. So what is Emigrate, right? We help you become globally attractive. As I said before, it's a platform, a community that help you become globally attractive. We help you build your tech profile. We help you build a tech-enabled business, right? And we give you tools and resources within our ecosystem to help you become globally attractive. So, and the side effect of being globally attractive is that you are sought after by, various nations who have created platforms for people that are globally talented or best, what do you call it, best talents in the world to come into the ecosystem to practice. You become attractive to such communities. So, and you are able to move from one community to the other, from one ecosystem to the other, from one country to the other, based off your tech experience and your tech knowledge and skill set. Right. What can Emigrate Service cover? For example, we give general free information. This session is Emigrate Open Day, where we share free knowledge, free information, general inquiry, right? But we also do coaching and handholding. We also do assessment, and just to help you go through your profile, help you position rightly. We also do a self-directed roadmap to qualify you for tech-enabled visa. So if you're a beginner, that might be where you want to start from, where we have a personalized roadmap that suits your career type or your day-to-day activity, and you can walk through a period of 1 to 2 years or 6 months to 1 year, depend on your speed, to get to a point where you become globally attractive. We also have roadmap again to become globally attractive in with the tech profile. So if you're looking at, you don't want to, more or less, you're not directly looking at relocation, but you just want to build tech experience, work in tech organization within your ecosystem. Yeah, this is also a platform that you can benefit a lot from. Example of the visas that we're talking about, or the tech talent visa we're talking about, is the global talent visa, which we're going to be talking about today. We help you review your global talent application. We have coaches that can advise you on the endorsement review process or the endorsement process. So if you're on that journey, you want to be very active in the Emigrate community, and speak to coaches within the Emigrate community. Speak to most of our coaches are success stories, I should put, of one visa type or the other. So they have real time experience, not just head knowledge. So it's good to read. If you go to if you go to Tech Nation platform, you find all the information you need, but you might need someone to help you understand those information, just to help you unpack what they mean by some key criteria and what they mean by some references that they're asking you to provide. So yes, that is why that's what we provide. That's what we at Emigrate we try to offer everyone that come around our path. So we have both free platform and premium platform. So today is a free platform. We're talking about sharing information and inspiration, free. We have the Emigrate community that is free. We have the monthly open day. We have introductory videos online on YouTube. Just with a simple Google search, you find most of our videos. We have visa specific hours, consultations and short inquiries for free. We do this for free for anyone in the Emigrate communities. We give this support for free, but we also have the premium package for people that are super busy and want a little more personalized coaching. All right, we have packages to support you. We can help you review and do introduction if you want, and also customized services. I talked about roadmap earlier, customized roadmap services that you can work with, and coaches that you can work with to help you build a globally attractive profile and business if that's what you are into. All right, so if you're interested, just look. If you're interested, there's a step 1 here. Income.net/emigrate is where you want to go, and request for to speak to a coach, request to speak to someone, and the conversation will be picked up from there. For any of the platform, whether you are interested in the freemium platform, which is the free platform, or you're interested in the premium platform where you want a personalized service or a customized service, just drop a message and we would reach out to you. A coach will reach out to you and we take it from there. All right. Emigrate packages. So these are sort of the tech-enabled pathway that we sort of focus on. Move to the UK as a global talent, which is talking about the tech nation visa. The country of specialty here, or focus here rather, is United Kingdom. We also have moved to the UK in 3 to 6 months, which is focused on the startup and UK innovator visa, again for the United Kingdom. Move to the US as a global talent. This is for United States. The focus here is O1 visa for individuals with extraordinary ability or achievement. And if you wait a little longer, we can unpack that for you during the conversation. When you hear extraordinary ability and achievement, don't rule yourself out yet. So listen to guys that have made it through, and you can get inspiration and to start the journey. So we also have moved in 2022 5 tech-enabled visa pathways to explore, which focuses on the UK, the US, Canada, France, and Germany. Depending on the unique circumstances of that you are in, we can tailor make a roadmap that suits your aspiration, right? The UK also have tech-enabled visa pathway for skilled workers who want to go into the UK and work in the UK. So these are the packages we focus on. It's not exhaustive, but these are some of the packages we focus on, and we can anytime take you on a journey with our coaches and help you unpack these packages further. So this is a general session, so I might not be able to go in depth on each of the packages. But if you fall into any category, if you're aspiring to be in any of this nation or explore any of these tech routes, please, we're going to drop a message on the chat group. Use the link to join any of this community and leave a message in the community, and we will reach out to you. So we have the WhatsApp community, which is not exactly free at the moment, so you can join the Telegram community. The reason why the WhatsApp community is not free is also because it has limited space. So you can look at the Telegram, Facebook. They're equally very active community. LinkedIn and YouTube community, they're equally very active community, and you can get our attention anytime you want in any of this community, right? And yeah, we encourage people in the community to be active, like, share, comment, join, ask questions, post, tweet. Today we are tweeting with hashtag Emigrate Open Day, I believe, right? And so engage as much as possible within the ecosystem. There are a lot of prizes to be won for the most active individuals in the ecosystem. I'm sure a lot of people have won free coaching sessions and free resource, free materials, free advisory sessions in those communities by just being active. Right. So Emigrate is brought to you by Bincom Dev Center, right? And I just want to take some time to share some of these other services that Bincom Dev Center offers, right? And all of them are geared toward making you globally attractive. So give me a minute, I'll run through them quickly. Bincom Global Tech Program. This is a tech program, a dev program where you can learn any tech skills, right? From whether you want to be a front-end expert or back-end expert or a full-time developer, core developer, data analyst, product manager, project manager. The Bincom Global Talent Program gives you an opportunity to learn those skills in a very conducive and competitive environment, I must say, and it allows you to gain experience and exposure. So you work on real life projects, and that exposes you to the community or to more skills, to exposes you generally and build your confidence in taking on projects, right? So we have entry level for beginners and intermediate level. So if you are looking to develop your skill, if you are a beginner, you want to start with the Bincom Global Talent to build a tech skill. If you have started already and you need a community that will challenge you to do more, Bincom Global Talent Program is a good place to start. So bincom.net/global tech would be the place you want to go to. And there's a short form a quick registration, and you will join, or you'll be contacted to inform on the next available cohorts when they start, right? We also have a mentoring platform. So if you represent an organization, right, or I should say a mentoring platform, if you are looking for mentorship, you're already in the tech space and you are working alone and you need a mentor to ask questions from time to time or to build with, we have a mentoring platform that you can take advantage of. It's a very structured mentoring platform. And if you are a mentor and you're looking for mentees, this is also a platform where you can find mentees who are building or actively working on something in your area of expertise, and you can give back by mentoring someone, right? So take advantage of this. And also we have in Bincom, Labs by Bincom, I should say. So Lab by Bincom allows you work in a cohort, allows you build a product, a digital-led product with a team. So for most tech experts or tech enthusiasts that have not built a product fully, so maybe you're working in the service industry within tech, or you're just joining tech, you work in a corporate where you're just focusing on a part of tech and you've not been able to fully build a tech product. You want to join Last by Binko, where you join a cohort, and in 3 to 6 months you curate and build a tech product that is solving industry specific problem, or that's solving specific problems that people can use. So we are not just building dummy projects; we are building real life products that can be leveraged. So we have Last by Binko runs for 3 to 6 months, and you can bootstrap, you can join and build a startup from scratch, and grow it from ideation to market, right, to development, backlog, building a backlog, and taking it to market, product marketing, and all these elements of building startup is something you will learn in Blast by Bincom. It's a very competitive platform. So please, if you looking for that kind of platform where you want to grow your skill, where you want to be part of a startup, you want to be part of a product idea, you want to contribute, you want to build or grow your experience. And most of the visa path, we ask if you have built a digital product before, if you have been involved in a digital product, involved in building a digital product before. So you want to put this on your CV and take advantage of Labs by Bincom. Other services from Bincom, they include the headhunter service, where we we groom and coach tech individuals, to become attractive to organizations who are looking for the skill set that you have to offer, right? So we help you land a role faster. We help you build relevant experience in your target country, and we also connect you to recruiters, right? So yeah, headhunter service by Bincom, it's very what would I say now? Very competitive also. So if you're coming in, you're ready to work fast, work smart, build relevant experience, and put yourself out there, right? So yeah, some available tech-enabled visa. I've run through this before. The startup visa, the innovator visa, global talent visa, and skilled workers route. These are our focus for the UK. For the US, we do the O1 and EB1 visa. For Canada, we have startup visa. So we have coaches in these areas that can help you navigate this path, walk through a proper structured roadmap to get you through all the information you need before you apply for these visas. And we have significant success rates, or success testimonies, I should say. So, right, if I'm sharing this for you to kind of have a view of what we have, and where we have coaches, and where we have experience, and where we have information. This is not just the countries that offer tech-enabled visa. So with the last session, we saw close to about 30 countries that launched one visa targeting tech entrepreneurs, tech experts, tech talent, to come into their country to work, right? So This is not exhaustive. If you come into the community, we can unpack a lot more, especially around the startup visa and the talent visas. Yeah. The lowest common denominator for everybody that comes into emigrate is the fact that we want to be globally attractive. That is what we want to be fundamentally. We want to be able to operate in any part of the world from any location that we choose to live in, right? So we want to become globally attractive. So that's, if you're not trying to become globally attractive, we might be boring to you, right? Just wanted to put that disclaimer out there. So yes, our focus is pathway to settlement for most of our visas. The benefit that comes with them is offers you pathway to settlement. It also gives you opportunity to move with your family. Most of the tech visas allow you move with your significant other or your family, right? We focus only on tech-enabled opportunities. I've said that before. We discussed in depth on in various Emigrate Open Day like this one on some of these tech opportunities. And today we'll be talking about Tech Nation opportunities. And if you are a beginner, so don't fright, just chill. We have plans for beginners. You can start with Bincom Global Talent, Bincom Global Tech program. We can come up with a roadmap that will suit you where you are. There are so many things we can do. So this list is not exhaustive. So don't say, oh, I'm not a tech expert yet. I'm just joining tech, or I'm trying to make that switch from one career, from a non-tech career to a tech career. So this might not be for me. Just hang in there. We can come up with a plan that will suit you in the next 6 to 12 months. Right. Having said that, I believe everybody qualifies in time, right? You might not qualify expressly today, but if you work with us and if you're very active in our communities, we guarantee you that you would, in time, be qualified for one of these visa pathway. And today we have in Ehi, who has gone through our own journey. She is a digital, she's a female developer, and she's also a Global Talent alumni. She'll be sharing her journey with us. Hey, hi.
Hello.
Hi. So she'll be sharing her journey with us and telling us how she got into tech, what she has done so far, and how she heard about the Global Talent. How easy, she's a developer, so writing code is more difficult than filling forms. So how easy was it for her to breeze through the Global Talent program? And if there were difficulties, what were those difficulties? How she went through them. So I would stop sharing now so you could join us and join the conversation. All right. You're welcome.
Yeah. Good day. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ehi, like Mudi has said. Currently a senior software engineer for a Canadian-based organization. And before then, I used to run my own startup back from Nigeria before I moved to the UK. So before then, right? Yeah, from the very beginning, right? How I got into tech. Well, I wouldn't say I got into tech. I'll just say that I've always been interested in tech from when I was a child, right? So basically, the first time I saw a computer was when I fell in love with computers, and I was 11 years old at the time. I was in GSS2, yeah, at that time. So I was like, man, it was a private school. So I'm like, okay, what's happening? And we'll go to the computer lab, and then, the teacher will just tell you, do this, do that, and that was it. So I'm like, okay, then I got excited about it, and I was like, I started wondering and thinking to myself how it was different from the TV. Started comparing them, and I'm like, why does this do this and this cannot do this, right? I started comparing and contrasting between both. So I was like, okay. So I started asking the teachers questions, but of course they couldn't answer some of the questions I had. So at that point, I was like, okay, I think I'm going to try to figure out exactly what this box is about, and then why it is different from the TV, and why it could do all of those things that the TV could not do. So I told myself I was going to spend the rest of my life trying to figure that out. So just three, third term, just three, at that period where teachers would be like, do you want to go to science class, or do you want to go to art class, or whatever? I'm like, I don't know, but I just want to go to whichever of them that allows me find out what a computer is and then learn about computers is what I'm interested in. Then they were like, oh, go to science class then. I'm like, good. So that was how I got to science class. And then, and then decided I was going to study computer science, computer engineering at first, because in my mind, I was like, maybe that would help me figure out what computers were. And then my star was the one filling the form, and she was like, you cannot, there's no computer engineering in this school. You can only apply for computer science. I'm like, yeah, they should be the same thing. So that's how I find myself in computer science. But yeah, still trying to figure out what computers were, and then only to be disappointed that at the university level, it was mostly mathematics. So mathematics and all of that, disappointing. And then the only thing close to programming was Fortran, and then basic, all of those outdated languages. So yeah. And then I was like, okay, here we are. And then in my mind, I started writing Fortran on paper, and in my mind it was working, everything was, the code was running. But I enjoyed it. So at that time, and somehow I met someone who was also was previously a student of the school, and then I was like, yeah, I'm going to learn from you, because I heard he understood C#. So I was like, yeah, can you teach me and all of that? So that was how I started getting interested in actually learning programming itself. But my joy was short-lived because my laptop was stolen. So what I did was I waited till after graduating. NYC bought a laptop saved my 4 months of alawi to buy a laptop, and then the 5th month I paid someone else to teach me Java, and then that was how the whole thing started. So that was the actual beginning of me. But the point is, I've always been interested from when I was a child, but then actually started it after NYSC, or during NYSC, where I paid someone to teach me. So started learning about Java, and then I was like, out of these things I'm building out just on my computer, I don't want things to just be on my computer. I didn't know how to get them to a much bigger audience. So I always told the person teaching me, is there no way how do I put this thing out there for other people to see what I'm working on? It was like, maybe you just go and learn web programming, web development. I'm like, okay, what was that? And they started telling me, oh, with this you can build websites and then build other things that can stay on the web. I'm like, oh yeah, that's actually what I want. So yeah, and then the guy partially taught me PHP. So that was my journey into, that's how I actually started learning about PHP and web technologies and all of that. So yeah. And then after then, eventually I was like, I found out that, or I thought to myself that while I was in school, I always had this concern about what will I do after graduation? Because of course my laptop was stolen, so I couldn't learn programming at that time. So I started thinking like, what will I do after graduation? And up till NYSC, where I was able to buy a new laptop. So I felt like there were other people like me in the university who would always be confused about what to do after school, because for those of us who we are not sure, we are not from wealthy backgrounds, right? Yeah, there's like so much uncertainties. So I started thinking to myself how I could help people, other students, who maybe have that same, maybe in that same situation. So then when I started having that thought, I met someone else who had started doing something around teaching undergraduate students programming, and like he had been ideating around, and I'm like, yeah, I would like to, let's work together, let's do this thing together, let's teach people undergrads, let's teach them software programming, so that at the end of the day they could maybe get a job or something, because I wished that I had that opportunity. So, and then yeah, that became my first startup. I partnered with this person, I started doing that. And then it was called Codulab at that time. That was from 2015. yeah, around that from 2015 to 2017, and I got bored and got tired, and I was like, okay, let's do something else. So, but all of that period of time, I was always doing something, programming or learning something new. But yeah, and then 2017, I applied to join MEST, Meltwater Entrepreneur School of Technology in Ghana, and then because I felt like first I was bored with what I was currently doing, and secondly, I felt like there were gaps, knowledge gaps that I felt like needed to be filled. And then I wanted something different. So I was like, okay, yeah, let's do this. Then I applied to MEST and I got selected and I went to Ghana for a year. And then if I'm too fast, let me know, please, because I have the tendency of speaking very fast.
No, yeah,
So
you're fine. You're fine so far.
okay.
I just wanted to say, if you have questions while she's speaking, you can drop them in the chat. Once she's done, we'll take the questions one after the other. So, pardon us. You can continue.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So I got to met other people from across Africa, and then started thinking about because the end of the at the end of the program for MEST, you're expected to like build a company. Of course, some people did not, but at least that's the point of going into the program anyway. So during the period at MEST, I made friends with other people. I dated around problems, actually did market research around problems, potential problems that people were having, individuals, businesses, and all of that. So it was during that period of ideation and market research that I met my friends who we eventually started, we dated, and then found out that there was a problem with there was a trust problem when people buy things online from people they don't know, Instagram sellers, or people buying from Instagram sellers who end up running away with your money and things like that. So there was this trust issue, and we were like, okay, let's solve for this. Let's solve this problem. So we became friends, and of course, built a fintech product that allowed us that served as the trust component between people who don't know each other and are trying to transact. So it was called VesiCash, and that became the company we built out of MEST. And then at the end of the day, we raised some seed rounds, and yeah, left MEST 2018, continued with the product because we were 3 founders. I was the only technical founding member, so automatically became CTO. So yeah, and then built that, started build that. No, yeah, so did that from 2018. Yeah, 2018 up till last year. Yeah. So my technician application was actually based on all of the work that I had done. You know, the story I just told, right? Everything that has, from when I was a child up to this moment, right? Everything has led me to where I am. So all of that story, I was part of my personal statement when I was applying for technician. So this is just like a summary of, but these are the main things that's made up my personal statement for technician, my technician application. So last year, I'd actually heard about technician before, I think 2019, yeah. I heard about it and I was like, I'm not sure I qualify for this thing. I feel like maybe they were looking for people that were very big, or I don't know. But I just felt like somehow I felt like I didn't qualify for it in 2019. So I didn't bother about it. So last year, January, a friend of mine, a friend's friend had gotten technician. So we started talking about, he mentioned it to me, and now we're all thinking about, okay, potential relocation options and routes. You know, most people go through school and some other countries, and I'd actually heard about this French tech visa at that time as well, but I wasn't very sure of it as well. So I didn't bother about it. And then a friend's friend had applied for technician. In fact, the guy did not even tell us it was not just that he had applied for technician, it was more like, oh, he's going to the UK in 2 weeks' time. We're like, how come? What happened? So, and then told us about technician. I'm like, oh, I've actually heard about this technician before, and I didn't even look at it. I thought I won't qualify for it and stuff. So then we started talking about it. And funny thing is, this person had paid about £5,000 to the law firm that helped him put his stuff together and applied for technician. So he was like, okay, so maybe we should, if we have money. I'm like, sorry, I don't have money I don't have £5,000, so sorry. So we're like, see, just give me your own form. I'll use that to know how to put my stuff together and apply. And he was like, okay, if I share it with you, don't share it with any other person and stuff. So yeah, that was how technician journey started for me and my friend. So we're like, okay, we're going to put this so the whole process took an average of a month, yeah. And the process of applying for it took an average of a month. And that's because we're trying, all of the things that we've been doing so far in tech and all of that were not documented. So you have to actually get all of your documentation together so that you can put forward the strong application. So that process of getting all those documents together took about a month, reaching out to potential referees, people who can write a recommendation for you. So putting all of those documents together, finding all of those links from wherever they were across the internet, and then putting them together. And so that all of that process took an average of a month. So applied for the stage one. So for the referees are ideally should be people who are also top in their respective fields. In tech specifically, they should be, because you're applying for a tech related visa. So it should be people who have also done stuff in tech, and in their executives should be executives. It's also good if there are people who are if you can get recommendations from outside of Nigeria, it gives like a stronger boost to your application. So like doing all of that research and like, okay, who in my network should I be reaching out to? And then beyond just reaching out to these people, before I reached out to these people, I actually checked their LinkedIn to be sure that yes, they work and this is where they work, and they're actually executives. So that's like how I decided that, okay, I had come up with about 6 people, and then eventually narrowed down to 3 that I used. So after comparing all of their LinkedIn profiles and all of the things there. So, and then I also compared the fact that they were outside of Nigeria, because it gave a boost to your application. So so yeah, that's how I eventually decided, okay, these are the people I was going to use for my recommendation. And also just besides just reaching out to those people, what I also did was found a sample recommendation letter, crafted one out, and then used that as a template that I shared with all 3 of them. Because I shared that as a template to all 3 of them, and then have them edit or make copies, edit, and fine tune it in their own words. But it's always good to have something like a template that they can play with. It makes the whole process a lot faster because you're taking these people's time. So yeah, I then did that. So it was a lot easier to get the recommendation letter. And yeah, so for the other documents that I use for my technician application, because like I mentioned, I applied as a startup founder. I was still of my company. So I applied as a startup founder, and then I put the personal statement, of course, is part of the thing you have to. It's part of the things you have to put in your application. So carve that out, and then some of the other evidences or supporting documents were all of the links that I had, the things that I've done basically across tech from my previous startup that I mentioned, all of the spotlight, the media coverage, and all of that. So basically everything that helps you put your application in the spotlight, that says that, oh, you've actually been doing this for a while, right? Things that they can refer to, they can reference and actually say that, oh yeah, this is valid. right? So all of those things that can be found on the internet were all of the things I put together to use for my supporting, like my evidence document that says, yes, I've actually been in tech, and I've been doing stuff in tech. So I put all of that together. And then, of course, the recommendation letters are part of it as well. And then, because like I mentioned, I was applying as a founder, so I had to put some document that specified that detailed my role in the company, right? Because anybody can just can as well say they are founders of this company, right? So things that specifically showed my name and being tied to the company, investments, investment deals that we had, investment letters and all of that. So things I could say, okay, this company is actually legit, right? This company is genuine, is registered, and they're actually building stuff. So I think a part of the application form also had like website to the products, because basically you're showing that you're a talent, right? A technical talent, and then that means, of course, your product has to be found online somewhere, anywhere. So all of those things, put them together. So I basically structured things about media relating to the company in the documents, then structured things about media specifically relating to me, right? All of those media coverage that I'd had in things I've done in AI, machine learning, all of that together says that, yes, this person has been active in tech, has been contributing to tech, and has been active for a while. So I put all of that together to form my evidence and document. So I think my company also had a patent, right? And then the company registration details, all of those documents also were part of the evidences that I used. Don't forget, like I mentioned, I submitted those documents because I was applying as a founder. If you apply, I know people who have applied as they are employees, so they didn't apply as founders, right? Although they've done there are people who have also, despite them being employees, right, they've also done things that makes them stand out as well, things you can find on the media. Like one of my friends, right, actually reviewed her application back then. So she has done a lot of things in research. She's a data scientist as well. She has done a lot of things in research, and also the things when it comes to data science, specifically Nigeria and across the world. She has given talks across different conferences around the world. So all of that, despite that person not applying as a founder, she got it. And there's another person. In fact, there are 3 other people that I know that have, most of the things, they've never been founders. They've largely been employees, and although they've contributed to open source a lot, so those people got endorsed as well. And I reviewed the applications as well. So all of the evidences I'm mentioning are specifically things related to applying as a founder. So if you're not applying as a founder, if you're applying as employee or any other, however you choose to apply, right? You just need to, whatever evidence has to support your application, has to show that, yes, in this capacity that you're applying for the endorsement, right? There are things to back it up basically, and those things can be found online, can be referenced. So those are all of the things I put together for my application. The application itself was not, I wouldn't say it was difficult. It wasn't like difficult to apply. The challenging part is actually getting all of those evidences together. That's the most challenge. That's where the bulk of the work is, because the other things are fill forms, right? We all fill forms, but the bulk of the work, because you want to do it once and nail it, right? Of course, some people apply once, they don't get it, they have to appeal, right? So but the thing is, you don't have a second chance to provide more documents, right? Except you want to reapply, that's a different thing. But if you're appealing, right, you cannot bring in new document. It has to be the same document you've used before. So it's always advisable to take your time, get all of those evidences together. That's where the bulk of the work is. The other part of the work is filling those forms, getting your statement of personal statements, right? Yeah, getting all of that together. And all of that also requires some form of research. When I was applying for mine, right, specifically my personal statement, right, I, besides putting all of my journey, right, I also put the fact that, oh yes, this is why I'm choosing the UK. Specifically, this is why I'm choosing London, because I live in London, because London is like the financial hub, right, of the world, kind of the way they put it. And I was applying as a fintech founder, so I had to emphasize that in my application so that whoever is reading it knows that this person has done their research. There's a reason why they're coming to London. Of course, I can choose to not live in London later on, but at least that helped strengthen the endorsement, the personal statement. One other person whose application I had reviewed before he submitted, he was also in the AI space. Specifically, they pointed him to things that the UK government was planning around AI, their AI roadmap. I referred him to that and then gave him ideas on how to utilize that and put it in his application to strengthen. So basically, the point I'm making is whatever you submit has to show that you've done some research, has to show that you're putting your best foot forward, basically, so that you can get the application once, you can get the endorsement once you apply. So it's not a difficult process. It's as smooth or as straightforward as it can be, because what they want is already outlined. It's just for you to sit down, take your time, put all of those things together, and actually apply. So it's not a difficult process. What else am I missing? So I applied in March. Yeah, I applied in March. I got the endorsements in 3 weeks. A friend of mine applied. We applied on the same day, March. He got his endorsement the next day. Right. So funny thing, because we submitted together. So he got his endorsement the next day, and I'm like, okay, what's happening? So for some people, it could take more time. For some people, they get, and then other people whose application I've reviewed. Yeah, some of them get it a week later, some of them get it 2 weeks later. But all the applications I've reviewed, I've all gotten it. So yeah, it's not a difficult thing. Just sit down, even if you don't have all of the evidences. I think it's about calming down, and you can actually build all of this over time, right? You don't need to be in haste and stuff. So you can build them over time, so that at the end of the day, it all strengthens your application, and then you can apply, even if you don't have all of the evidences. So I think, yeah.
Thank you. That's been very detailed and taking us through your journey. And I particularly like how you tied your personal statement to your journey. I think that's a very fantastic way to do it. Your personal statement reflected how you started, how you've journeyed, and where you are headed. So it's not just the past, but also forecast the future to say, this is why I'm coming here, and this is what I want to come and contribute. I think that was very thoughtful. And I hope people are learning. I hope people are taking note as you were speaking, because you said a lot of things, you said a lot of important nuggets, if I should say, that people can pick and apply, right? So I'm just going to ask some questions. And if you have any questions from what you said, or you're trying to clarify your journey, where you are, if you're stuck in any way and you just need a bit of direction, you can drop the question in the chat and we would get to it. We have about 3 questions already in the chat, but I will start with some general questions. People typically want to know what are the key criteria you applied against when you were applying. You talked about getting your references, but we also know that technician asks for some key acceptance criteria, some key criteria that you need to provide evidence for, whether you are exceptional, knowledge, we know there's knowledge somewhere, leadership, innovation. So can you remember the ones you applied against?
Yes. So they always ask for evidences that shows that whatever you're applying for, talent or promise, right?
Yeah.
For talent, you're already a leader, right? That shows that yes, you've been a leader in this space. for promise shows that, oh, you're a promising leader, right? So whatever you choose to apply for, the evidences has to point to those facts. So basically, depending on which of them you choose to apply for, right? So for me now, like I mentioned, applied for as a leader, right? Because I was already leading. I'm a leader already, running a company, and of course, I've also been a leader even before that startup, right? In the work that I had done in trying to like create employment and make it possible for people to be employed after school. So all of those are some of the leadership qualities that I would say that, because I had demonstrated all of that. So all of the evidences I put together has to relate to that. So at that point, right, I was a founder of a company, right? At that point, I had to put evidences that shows that I'm a founder first. I have the company is registered, right? And then that the patent document of the company, and then all of those information that shows things about, oh, the founders of this company and my name is on it. So, and again, investment documents, because we had received we had the 2 investors. So all of the documents that were signed in relation to that, all of that were part of the because they had information about the company, right? So that also shows that I work in this company. So those were things I added to my application. Besides those ones, specifically things that are related to me, still leadership wise, right? All of the awards that I had received, because I had received a couple of awards, MTN, BBC, right? And those could be found on the internet. So all of the links to all of those awards, I put them together into a document and then named that document awards. So all of those awards, my names are on the page, the web pages, right? So I put them there. That's that. And as well as all of the conferences that I've given a couple of talks around AI, machine learning and stuff, in different conferences, right? The links to either the conference video or where the specific talk that I gave was, I put that there. And then, or the flyer about the event, like this one I'm giving, like this talk I'm giving, if I was going to apply, I'd have put it I'd have added it if it's relevant to the whatever application I'm doing, right? It would be a good evidence to also add to what I have. So if I have like for awards now, I had like a couple of links. I think about 4 different links. We had like about 4 different awards, right? Added all of those links into one document, and that document became a single evidence. So all of those 4 awards in one document, and that document becomes an evidence that shows that, oh, this person has been a leader. This is like that basically details the things I've been doing, the awards I've won, that still attest to the fact that yes, I've been contributing to technology. And then all of the conferences that I've also given talks, all of that together, put them in another document, and that became an evidence for hello.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We can hear you.
All right, and that became another evidence, a supporting document as well. But that one is conferences and speaking engagements. So all of those kind of evidences still points to the fact that yes, this person is a leader in their field, and they've been doing this for a while. So that's how I was able to like put all these documents together.
Okay, cool, fantastic. And you talked extensively around your references, right? Did you have to have a personal relationship with the guys or the people or individuals who referenced you? I know you mentioned if they are, in a different country, it might help to boost. I wanted to be clear about that. And did you have personal relationship? Are they looking for foreigners, or you can get references in your local community?
So the references I used, they had to be people who know my work right? So it's not just because they know me. It's the fact that they know me as a founder of this company, because that's the only way they can like attest to the fact that yes, I actually know this person. They're the founder of this company, and because I'm applying as a founder. So, and then what the company does. So basically, the people I used as my reference, there's one of this accelerator program my company had gotten into at that time, and one of the executives of that accelerator program was my referee. I added that person as one of my referees. So, because she knows I was part of the accelerator program. So while the recommendation letter I wrote, like I mentioned, I had a template for all of these people that were my referees. In the recommendation letter, I put the basis of knowing this person. So I put I wrote it in there from their own
Perspective.
Perspective. Like, oh, my name is this and this. I've known Ehi for this period of time. She was part of our accelerator program with our company, Versicash, blah, blah, blah. So that's how I wrote it. So that's this person giving their perspective. But the thing is still the fact that first, this person, I've gone through their program and I've built a kind of rapport with them. So they know me and they know the company I had built. So they were able to be good references for me. And also the fact, so that made it very good. That made them very good references for me. The fact that they were executives of that accelerator program. And it also became a plus for the fact that although the accelerator was in Nigeria, but the person was outside of the country and they had a branch outside of the country. So I was able to leverage that. So the other, one of my other reference was a mentor, basically. He was a mentor of while I was at MEST, he was one of the mentors, because what MEST does is all of the companies that were the Meltwater invested, that's the MEST founder, invested in, right? They all went through automatically part of the MEST accelerator program, incubation program, the MEST incubation program. And for each incubator, there's like a mentor, more like a portfolio mentor or advisor or something like that. So this person was our portfolio advisor. So he was on managing all the MEST companies in Lagos. So in that scenario, he was fit. Although when he referenced me, he was no longer working with MEST. He was now working in a different company. But the fact that he had known me and the company as part of the MEST incubation program, and now he now owns a fund or something. So it also and is also like is also an executive in that new fund that he runs. So it also doubles and makes it a solid reference for me. So, and then the third person who was my reference was also it was also a mentor. So it was not a portfolio company mentor, but it was my personal mentor from MEST as well. So although then at that time he was already, the reason I used that person was first, is an American. So and then he was working for an American company, and he was I think he was in the C-level too. So he made it although he did not reference me from the point of a founder. Of course, he knows the company because the company came out of MEST, and he too was a MEST mentor at MEST back then. But he didn't reference me based on that, although he mentioned that in the reference. But the reference letter was largely so based on him knowing me for all of the work I had done in tech. So all of that, those three kinds of mentors. So those are the people who
Fantastic. It's good to mention that. So they know you, they've experienced your work, or they know your work. And these are not just people you Googled up or you went to LinkedIn to search for. These are people that you've worked with, you've been mentors to you, you've been mentees under them. And yes, it was easy for them to recommend you or reference you. So that's very good to clarify. So I wanted to ask, was there at any point in time as a CTO, founder CTO, did you have to show your code base, your GitHub account when you were applying?
Oh no, you don't need to do that at all.
Okay.
The only thing I did was we had different products. Mm-hmm. So at that time we had about 4 different products. The main website is there. Then we had other products that were sub of that website. So what I did was put all of those, like a snippet of what each product was about and the specific links to those products. As that's the only thing I did. I added that. I made all of that like a product document. So company products, I had like, it was one of the evidences I used, a company products document. I just detailed that, but I don't know if that was helpful, but I just decided to add it just in case.
Okay, fantastic. It's good to mention because with the founder title and the CTO title, one would think, oh, this is for people that know how to code, so it's good we clarified that you didn't have to show your code base or your GitHub account. All right, there's someone, I'll go to the question in the chat. If you haven't dropped your question, please feel free to drop a question in the chat and we're going to take them. Bayemi says, I have over 15 years experience in BSFI. Is that banking service, financial service, and insurance? Please clarify. How best can I apply to technician without any experience in startup? The emphasis is more on media and publicity. If you could clarify your question, we'll be able to take it, right? 15 years experience in tech, it's more than enough to apply. I was just going to ask our guest, how long, how many years experience did you have? Was it 5? Because it talked to, or was it 10? From when you started, fully, the part of your work that you captured, how many years was it?
Yeah, the work I captured from 2015, so it was about 6 years work I've done. So, but that's not like I mentioned, the other people I know that have also applied, right? Recent, like one of the most recent that I know. Basically, the person should be like 2-3 years in tech, 2 years there, about 2-3 years in tech. But the point is, they had something that was out there.
Yeah.
So an open source, so it did not really matter the number of years, right? The point is this person has a project that is out there that is quite popular. So it made it easy for that person to also apply. And the fact that the person has been giving talks as well based on that project that they had built, an open source project that they had built, made it easy for that person to like be involved and engage with the tech community across the world, giving talks at different conferences and stuff. So the person was able to like build on top of that open source project and was able to get recommendations from across the world, still because of that open source project. So it doesn't really matter the number, except maybe these days. I don't know if these days maybe technicians.
Technicians try to look at 5 years of experience, right? So it's divided into two paths: exceptional promise and exceptional talent. For exceptional promise, I believe you can apply from 2 to 3 years. Exceptional talent, they look more broadly, over 5 years, right? So and that segues into the next question where someone asks, what are chances of someone who is 2 years in tech? So I think we just answered that question. Someone that was in 2 years in tech, you can apply for technician. You would possibly be looking at the exceptional promise category to apply on the I'm just looking for. Someone asked, what is the cost implication of any of these visa routes? So we're talking about technician endorsement today. Were you able to capture how much you spend in total? And yes, you mentioned somebody spent £5,000 if I was correct initially. So to a law firm to put it together, and you did not use that route. So I'm thinking you did not pay £5,000. Right? Are you able to give a rough estimate, not exact, just an estimate of how much you spent?
So a rough estimate, I would say the very first because you have to pay a fee to get this, I think a reference number or something. You pay on the gov.uk website, you pay a fee, I think about 200 USD. So I would say just for applying, right, to getting the endorsement.
End to end.
Yeah. So No, from applying the very first stage, so applying for the endorsements, and after getting that's just like about $200, $250 thereabouts. So after that, you apply for once you get the endorsement, you then apply for the actual stage 2, which is where you apply for the visa. So that one you have to like pay. I think you have about at 2 different points you have to make payment. One of them is about $400, or for is it 400 or 600? I can't remember exactly anymore, but you have to pay thereabouts. So let me just say the application cost itself should be about $800. Not
Okay.
more than that. Not more than that. So that's for the stage 1, and after you get your endorsement, then once you get that's for the stage 1, and then for the stage 2, that's like an average of $800. It's not more than $800, at least the last time. Then after paying the 600 or $400 in your stage 2, is when you now pay for health surcharge, kind of like a health insurance kind of thing.
So
Or
that's a
they
home
call it.
that's a home
So
office, right?
yes, so that's the one that actually takes money.
Okay.
So that's where that's the one you actually have to pay a lot of money for. So and that's depending on the number of years. So if you're global exceptional promise, of course, you have to pay for 5 years. If you're talent, you have to pay for 3 years. So that's where bulk of the money will be paid. But besides that one, the actual application fee should not be more than $800.
All right. So I believe that answers your question. Around $800 to apply for technician. Once you get the endorsement, you proceed to home office and pay for head surcharge and regular visa application fee, which applies to everybody that is trying to get into the UK. So I think we've touched on that. So this person is saying most documents wants you to show media publicity, mentions, and the like. So I think he's talking about evidence. And you talked a lot more about this, where you have to show links, which are proof that you really went for the award. You were really given an award, right? So if you have a blog link, a newspaper link, a website link, a YouTube channel link, you want to put that to support your claim that you were actually given an award. And that sits under award and recognition, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah.
Listening to you. So so it's very important that you are able to capture evidence in platforms that can be researched. So anybody can click on that link and go and verify where you were mentioned where your project was mentioned, your work was mentioned. You can put the link to those in your application just as supporting documents, right? I think it's very important you do that because technician is particular about exceptional promise, exceptional talent. So they want to know that you really invested time, you did what you said you did, you have leadership capabilities, you have innovative products or innovative ideas out there that are doing well, and you'll be recognized for it. Your ecosystem recognizes you also, and that's where award comes in, right? I think we've answered that. She said all the applications she reviewed was successful. How can I get to review my, please? All right, you join the community and we profile you and decide if she'll be gracious enough to review yours. All right, so join the Emigrate community and we will take the conversation from there. Apologies, we're not able to do a review session live. It would have been good to do that, but time is not our friend today, right? For how long now I've been doing training on DevOps, cloud computing. Please, how can I build my portfolio that will make me qualify for global talent visa next year ending? Do you have some advice for this person? It's a DevOps beginner, I should put, because his person is doing training within DevOps.
So one of the quick ways to build your documents, portfolios are like giving talks. Basically, you need to go to attend conferences where you get to talk about DevOps or share a topic in DevOps and stuff. So that's an example of how you can build your portfolio. So give a lot of talks because they want to be sure that yes, it's not just like a talk where it's just 10 people that are there. So as you expand your knowledge in DevOps, right? Look for DevOps conferences across the world specifically. It shouldn't be specific to Nigeria, right? You can start with Nigeria, but the DevOps conferences where you get to talk about DevOps or share knowledge and all of that, try and look for the ones that are outside of the country and volunteer to give a talk in those places. So that will help. Those are ways to build your portfolio that you can use as supporting document. And also there are different things. There are different ways in which you can also build for DevOps people, right? You can also build specific open source projects in DevOps. It's possible. So there's this one I saw. There's this guy that does I think, is it 30 days of DevOps? Yeah, 30 days of DevOps is one of those repos on GitHub. So every day, what the guy does is every day, I think, is it 30 days? I can't remember. Or 90 days, yes, 90 days of DevOps, yeah. So every day for 90 days, he talks about it basically posts README files. So one particular README explaining everything about how to containerize an application, for example. Tomorrow he talks about Kubernetes. Next tomorrow he talks about something else. So basically, if you check if you look for that repo on GitHub, you'll see lots of README files and lots of explanation about DevOps, different things you want to cover on DevOps here. So it's something like that, and that repo has a lot of people who has forked that repo or starts that repo and all of that. So that's a lot of that person has been able to build his own portfolio in that manner, right? With all of those stats, you don't need to like actually write code, right? Or with that kind of project, there is an open source project of that speaks for itself. So that's an idea too. So you can look for something else in DevOps that you can create an open source and project of that thing, and yeah, that will also help you to building your portfolio.
All right, fantastic. So we have a question. I was once a co-founder, but I have been an employee from 2018. Should I apply as an employee or should I blend the two together or just focus as an employee?
You can't apply as an employer if you are no longer an employer. You have to have if you want to apply, if you're applying and if in your application process or form or the fields that you're going to fill, you cannot put an employer there. If you're no longer a co-founder of a company, you can't put it there. You have to put it from the perspective of you're going to be working with this company. So that's how you have to put that. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah. So you have to put your current product and portfolio and you can apply. You can show evidence of things you've done, right? But you also have to specify your current in your personal letter. What are you doing now?
Yeah.
Right. That has to be able to be captured.
You can actually make that as part of when you're telling your story of your personal statement. You can actually chip that in. Yeah, because they always ask if you've ever founded a company before or something like that. So you can add that, and at least in my time, I think I saw it in one of the questions. There was something about if you've ever, so you can put that in those kind of places and also add it to your story. But largely, whatever you're applying with currently has to be what you're currently doing.
All right, fantastic. So yeah, thank you. I think we've run through most of the questions. If you have any more question, clarification, we have someone that is grateful. It has been clarified. It has cleared some thoughts. You want to also pop those questions. We have a few, about 10 to 15 more minutes to go. And I was just going to ask, let's come back to you, Ehi. How's life been in the UK? How easy was it for you to settle into the UK? And you said you lived in London. You live in London, right?
Yeah.
So tell us, how is the tech ecosystem in London, and how easy has it been to settle in?
Yeah, settling in. Well, when I came initially, it wasn't easy. So it's always not easy when you are moving from one place to another, trying to settle in a different country. So it wasn't easy. So from I think where the majority of the hustle was for me was getting an accommodation, and then some accommodation because here you are coming from Nigeria where you pay one you whatever rent you pay is for 1 year. This that same amount you're coming to pay here. In fact, you're even paying more than that per month here. So that was a challenge. And again, when you're coming in, you're a new person. That some people are asking you. And for me, that like I was coming in as a founder, right? The company I wasn't working for a company here, so they'll tell you, okay, you need to have a reference. How can from a previous
Employer.
landlord, or you need to
Oh,
have
okay.
or a reference from if a your company of employment. I'm not employed here now. Where am I going to get that? Or I've never had an apartment here before. So why do I find reference? So like those are just like some of the challenge. Accommodation is majorly the challenge. It was a major challenge for me. But eventually, I think for me, I one of those days I was just tired, and I then one night like that I just prayed about it, and then the next morning on I went to that same website. I found an apartment. In fact, it felt like that apartment was specifically kept for me. So I found the apartment 30 minutes after it was posted. Called them up. They were like, okay, you can come and see tomorrow. I went there tomorrow. They were like, yeah. I was like, oh, I love this place. I'm going to take it. What do I do to get this place? They're like, okay, come to our office. I went to their office that same day. Yeah. They were like, okay, do you have a letter from a reference letter? No. Okay, because you don't have a reference letter, this is your first apartment. You have to maybe you have to pay 4 months rent. So
Wow.
I paid 3 months rent and one extra. I had to pay. In fact, thank God, that was I just exhausted everything I had, and I did not have all of the money at that. I had to. Thankfully, my cousin live here in London, so I got some part of the money from her, and then had to pay her later in the month. So basically had to pay 4 months rent. While I've actually seen houses where they say you have to pay 6 months rent, and so housing was the major challenge for me. Food was good. Yeah, of course, you always have when you come, you always be like, you're in your mind, you're calculating and converting to naira eventually. But food has been good. There are Nigerian restaurants around, so I don't have issues with food. Yeah. Besides that, I didn't have.
How about the tech ecosystem? How easy was it for you to connect to people in the London tech ecosystem?
So what I did majorly was I had this meet largely was what I was using. So I basically opted in for some of the meet events and hangouts. So that's where I got to most of the event that I attended and the people had um spoken with and gotten in touch with, and the networks I have, right, are from the people I meet there in most of those events. So and then GDG and then Facebook had like there was an event later. Google had an event too. So basically, opting in for those events are the ways in which I was able to like interact with the tech ecosystem here in the UK.
Cool, fantastic. So building network, there's two things that that you've talked about, and maybe you haven't mentioned them express. I just wanted to mention them. One, storytelling, telling your story correctly when you're applying for technician is very important. Knowing how to profile yourself rightly is very important, and also building network. Your network will come through for you as reference. Your networking skills will come in for you when you're settling into a new ecosystem or a new community. So fantastic. We finally okay. We have one more question. I was just going to say finally. From your explanation, please, does it mean I can do the technician application or myself, then come to Bincom Immigrate Community for review before submission? Yes, what we do is just coaching, advisory services, so you can start the process. You can go to technician.io and the criteria are listed there, and you can start the process. And if you need someone to help you review, you need someone to help you go through or explain, unpack any of the clauses or any of the criteria, then we're right here being what's called Emigrate would gladly have you. We have coaches within the Emigrate ecosystem that can help you with that, right? And but there's also what I found interesting is that when you start with a group, there's this energy when you're with a team or with a group and you're answering or asking questions from the get-go. You move faster rather than isolating yourself and make a couple of mistakes, then you come back and start all over again because you made a couple of mistakes. So depending on how you want to play it, you might want to start within the community, answer your questions, or you may want to finish getting your documentation, getting your referees, getting your links together, and we can help you proofread, we can help you review, and make sure you are putting your best foot forward. Right. So my final question, maybe not the final question. Hey, thank you very much. You've been good. You've been very detailed. I just want you to advise first. There are a lot of females on the call today, and seeing one a lady that has become a founder, has moved from one ecosystem to the other, has good success. I want you to talk to the young ladies who are just coming into tech, who are trying to make decisions to come to tech. What word of advice do you have for them? A lot of people see the CTO position as a male-dominated position. To be a woman in that position, I believe you have one or two tricks or tips to share with females in the room to say, yes, it's not so much big of a deal. You can actually become a CTO if you do 1, 2, 3, 4 or less. Right. So you want to advise the women in the room first, those coming into tech, those aspiring to become suit leaders within tech. And then we want you to also advise generally people that are already in tech and looking at making the decision to take advantage of technician endorsement process. Yeah.
Okay. I'll come from the people who are just coming into tech, and people who are already in tech and are looking to leverage technicians. So start from So coming into tech, I mean, I'm sure that you've gotten a lot of other advice, and but if you're just coming to tech, my main advice would be, at least something I wish I had known, was don't try to move too fast. Don't try to learn everything. You can't be everywhere. You can't know everything. So there's like a lot of confusion. Like today, some people will tell you, it's do UI UX, learn UI UX, and then you learn UI UX. Then tomorrow, some people will be like, oh, Python is backend. Python is the main thing, or someone else will say, oh, DevOps, go and do AWS, blah blah blah. There's a lot of information. It's easy to get distracted. So calm down. Just try to an extent. Try and know exactly what you want. It's not easy to know what you want, but start with something. Go deep into it. If you feel like it's for you, go on. If you feel like it's not for you, move on to something else. But try and understand and go deep into it. Get an understanding and actually decide for yourself that this is not for you. So don't try to just, because people are saying Python is where the thing is now, or you to just move to Python, or is now front end or graphics design, or it was Figma. Figma was sold the other day. So and then tomorrow everybody's moving. It has to be you making the decision by yourself and understanding why you are making that decision. So don't try to move around too much. Always try to go deep before going wide, right? That's for newbies. And also for newbies, don't get caught up in the web of tutorials. There are a lot of tutorials out there. Actually practice. That's how you attain mastery. So good luck on that. So that's for people who are just coming. Then for people who have been in tech and are looking to apply for technician, yes, by all means, apply for technician. But the thing is, don't rush it. Calm down. Put all your documents together. find all of those. You want to put your best application there. $800 is not easy. It's not cheap. You understand? Yeah, some people have it. I mean, these days, all of us are working remotely. Maybe one job out there is paying 5K. Who knows? Yeah, but still, $800 is not cheap. So calm down. It's better for you to actually have all of those resources and evidences together. Even if you don't have all of them, take your time, build them. Right, take your time, build them. And then, in fact, right now, I've like heard a lot of things like that. The way reviewing applications coming from Nigeria is a bit different from how they review applications coming from us, or, some other part of Africa. So you don't want to just apply and submit and get your. It's not somehow it's not a lot of money, but then it is a lot of money again. So take your time, put forward a good application, put your best application out there, so that whatever happens, you'll be like, yes, I put in my best through, right? So that's for people who are applying. And if you don't have all of the evidences, take time to build it. Like, be conscious, intentional about actually building them. At least someone asked that question about how do I build my portfolio and stuff. You have to be intentional. In fact, for me, I didn't even know that those things will be useful to, when I was applying for technician, but I just wanted to do all of those things, and I just kept doing them. So now you have to just be intentional. Since you have something you're working towards, be intentional about building all of those evidences and gathering them, and then eventually applying. Don't rush it. Just calm down, take your time, put a good application together, and you'll be good. And just before you submit, always have a second eyes. So, because like I said, you want to put your best application out there. So when you have someone critiquing your application, when you have someone reviewing and the person is giving you advice, don't think that the person is trying to put you down, or the person is demeaning you or all of that. No. Most of the times, people who are reviewing application also want you to get it, because for me, it's a joy when I know that, of all the 4 people that have reviewed the application, they all got it right. It's a joy to me as well. So I want to be sure that when I'm reviewing the application, I don't want to add it to the number of people that I reviewed and they didn't get it. I'd rather have it as people that, so they're correcting. Don't look at it from a just take it with all. It's not easy. Take it with love. And if you don't have all of the things, if they tell you you don't have all of the things you need, ask for how do I make it better, right? So basically, everything you're doing is to help you get your application to the best of the best, so that when you eventually apply, you can get it once and for all. So I don't know if that's helpful to anybody, but that's
I think those are very good advice. Go deep before you go wide. Don't be locked up in the tutorial web, right? I think those are very good and solid advice. Someone is asking, and I'm just going to take this. Gloria, can a community manager apply for technician? And I just wanted to say that technician is focused on digital-led products technology. So when you say community manager, you want to what kind of community are you talking about? Is it community of products? Right. I don't want to, so I understand community manager, but what do you do specifically in that community? Are you building a digital product, or are you involved in a digital product? You have to be able to unpack that. So community manager is a very broad term. It can mean different things in different contexts, right? So, and we don't have enough time to dive deep into that. Developer community manager. Yeah, so we now have to go back again to what product have you developed? What have you been working on? And we can have that conversation in the community, the immigrant community. And if the link was dropped earlier at on this chat, if you scroll up, you would I don't know if IT can drop that link again. You can join the community and we can take the conversation out there. We've kept Ehi out for too long, and we have to let her go now, right? So thank you, Ehi. Thank you very much for sharing your experience, sharing your time. This has been very helpful for a lot of people, I can tell. And definitely we'll hear a few days from today, a few months from today, a few years from today, that somebody will say, hey, you said something at the Emigrate Open Day that changed my mind, that made me apply. or that clarified something that gave me an edge. So thank you very much for giving back to this community, right? Thank you, everyone. I'm just going to run through a few slide now while A takes her leave, right? Thank you very much, right? So guys, I'm just going to share just a review of some of the information that I shared earlier in the beginning for those that did not join. Today we focused on UK global talent, right? And our coach today was a data analyst, software engineer, entrepreneur, co-founder, and CTO. And our story is very inspirational. So if you missed the beginning, these will be live on YouTube, so you can go back and watch. And please, when you do watch, share with friends, share with family, share with people looking to explore the tech global talent route, right? And yeah, and there's a lot of information out there. One of the things I should say is don't just listen to this information, kindly take action, right? Do something a day to favor the vision you have, to favor the course that you are on. If you want to become globally attractive, write a line of code a day, right? You know, some of us started from Fortran. You could start from C#. You could start from somewhere, PHP. Just start from somewhere and build from there. And daily put the bricks in front of another, and you would become globally attractive, right? Move to the UK in 3 to 6 months. For those who are interested in the startup visa, UK innovator visa, it is still on. The emigrates we're offering more like a promo, right? This is a promo for those that are interested in the startup visa and innovator visa. We spoke extensively on this last month. So if you missed that session, you want to go on YouTube and check out that video. But there is a promo going on that allows you to move to the UK in 3 to 6 months. If you send, if you want to be part of it, if you want to know more about it, send a text message or WhatsApp to the number you see on the screen, right? They're all WhatsApp numbers, and we would pick up the conversations from there. So these are for founders, startup owners, startup founders looking to take their business to the UK. For example, you've seen a niche market in the UK and you think you have an idea, you have a solution, you have a business that you can leverage in that niche market. Startup visa, it's prime for you. So you want to take a look at it. This is not the student route. This is not global talent route. This is for startup. It's a 2 years visa where you can set up your business, raise fund, raise equity, and you can grow your business in the UK. All right. Yeah. So these are countries that have sort of have one talent visa or the other. We talked about this extensively last open day, right? So we've come to the end of today's session. I just wanted to give you that update. And Emigrate is a platform that equips you to become globally attractive. And like we said, the side effect of that is that you become attractive to different ecosystem, different communities, and different countries, and you can decide to move if you so desire. Your idea, you can decide to move your business, and you can decide to move physically into those other communities. So take advantage of all the information. Ehi broke it down nicely today. Take advantage of the opportunity we have right now if you're looking to relocate. And most of the tech route allows you move with your family, allows you move with your children. They're very friendly to family, so you want to look into that. And most of the tech routes are cheaper than education route, so you don't have to have £20,000 or $20,000 to apply for these. Tech Nation visa, first stage and second stage cost roughly about $800. Think about that, roughly about $800. So you have an opportunity to leverage that by joining the Emigrate community. So thank you guys. We would be in the chat shortly after now, just to answer a few more questions. If you want to join the community and you're finding it difficult, you can join from the Telegraph group, or the LinkedIn group or the Facebook group. The links are all on the chat. If you want to ask further questions, you want a coaching session, please drop a message on the chat. IT will be there to take it up. Or when you join the group, you can ask a question that I want a coaching session. I was in the September 21st edition of Emigrate, and you get free 30-minute coaching session, right? But that is only valid in the group. So if you're in the group, you can drop a message. I was in the September 21st, Emigrate opened this session. I want a 30-minute coaching session, and you would be granted for the first 10 people, right? So take advantage of that. Thank you very much, guys. It's been good. It's been fun learning and sharing today. I wish we could talk more, but look out for the next edition. Look out for on our social media platform. We're going to be sharing information on the next tech talent visa, which we're going to talk about. It might be the US, it might be Canada, it might be Australia. Just look out for that. And please share the link with your friends and family, with anyone who is looking at the tech visa route to migrate to either Canada, US, Australia, and any other country in Europe. So thank you. Have a good time, and we will talk in the next edition. If you have questions, you can drop it in the chat, right? And we would. So join the Telegram group. The WhatsApp community is kind of full, so we'll have to add you to the group. So please join the Telegram group or join the LinkedIn group, and you'll be added to the WhatsApp group. It's packed full at the moment. Thank you, Ehi. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for all you shared today. We appreciate. Thank you, guys. See you in the next edition. Thank you.